On this episode of Real Estate on the Rocks, we're going to talk about how to keep your business from going cold.
Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
That's right. We are back in the studio today to talk a little bit about how to keep your business from going cold. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and throw out a quick shout out to Magic Mike Harrell over at Guaranteed Rate. Give Mike a try. If you are in need of a kick-ass loan officer, give him a try. Give him a try, right? So
go all in to Magic Mike.
So dumb. Anyway, Magic Mike at 88000. If you want to talk to Magic Mike, just do that. If you have any questions, he's glad to answer them for you. If you've got maybe a deal that's in trouble, if Mike can't do it, nobody can. Nobody. All right, so let's get started today. We're going to talk about some marketing. Basically, I think we got about 25 marketing tips to help you out to make sure over this holiday season and to kick off January and February, you just don't go cold, because there's nothing harder than, a real estate agent that works in the ebbs and flows. And coming off a really busy season, you're probably ready for some downtime. You're probably ready to spend some time with the family. Even if you live in a tropical area, you're pretty much just kind of ready for some R&R after the busy season that it seems to be the U.S. markets are having. So let's get to it. Marshall, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with the first couple?
Number 1, host a client appreciation event.
Oh, that sounds new.
Sounds fun.
Never heard of that before.
But we haven't done it here at the new office yet.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Just hosting a holiday-themed client appreciation event here at the office. So have cookies, something to eat, hot cocoa, maybe some drinks.
Okay, well, what if you're an EXP agent and you don't have an office, you're cloud-based?
Well, you can always pick a meeting spot somewhere. Okay. Go out to a nice dinner somewhere. I mean, not too nice.
That could get rather expensive. Take all your clients to dinner, Marshall. I would suggest to kind of teaming up with maybe your lender of choice. We title a lot with Mike Harrell over at Guaranteed Rate, and then we partner with our title companies all the time. What I like to say is OPM. Other people's money can always help you facilitate these ideas that you have, because they can get rather expensive. And so even just having something maybe at a local bar or brewery where you can go in and talk to the managers or talk to the owners of the property and ask them if they can do a drink special, if you can bring people in. I know that we did one here in Georgetown with the guys at Barrels and Amps, and they gave us, a great drink special, and we had, an event for, Wilco real estate agents around. And I went on a tangent a while back saying I don't hang out with realtors much, and then I completely forgot that, we throw a monthly thing. I was reminded of that. However, I didn't want to get them crossed. So I was talking about two different things, really, but it seemed like I wasn't. What are you doing? Who's doing that?
Who's doing what?
I don't know. Someone's scratching something that's in my left ear right now. There might be a bug in my earphone. What's that called? MSRP or something like that?
No. MSRP.
Anyway.
For the sounds of buying vehicles.
Right. So let's get to this real quick again. So what's on the next list there, bud?
Judge a best dressed door contest in your farm or neighborhood.
That's a good idea. You throw that out there in the social media.
Those can get fun, because you can either do like the, really nice attire, or you can make it a fun festive thing. Like you can go, like a friend of mine, for example, for Christmas every year has a whole full like Christmas design, like suit, like full thing with tie and everything. And so he'll wear that a lot. And he's a big Patriots fan, so he has a Patriots one. So there's, different ones, there's tons of different, I think there's a couple dozens.
I've got the Blazers. Yeah, I mean, they sold them a couple years ago at Walmart, and somebody that I know actually bought me two of them.
They keep coming back in. And so you can do that. You can do ugly sweater contests. I mean, you can do, different versions of that that work real well.
For sure. Yeah, I have a Santa Claus one, and I have an abominable snowman one or a Yeti one or something like that. It's really cool. And I can't wait to wear them. I see them in the closet all the time. I was like, I can't wait to break those things out. I went to the holiday party last year. I said holiday party. Christmas party last year. And
same.
Yeah, same. But everybody absolutely loved them. I think I took more pictures than Santa Claus got.
Nice.
You know? So I guess I'm just a different version of Santa Claus.
Hipster hand of Santa Claus.
That's a good way to get your kids involved too. Get them busy for an hour.
Well, yeah, and the neighborhood kids too. So I mean, it really gets the whole family involved decorating the door, right? So I mean, we might not get like the single Joe Schmo that lives in the neighborhood decorating his door to win anything. However, that's a great family event to tie it in, and then you can personally go around and judge, or you can have the voting go on the neighborhood. You know, you can take a picture of it, post it on the Facebook page if you're on the one of the neighborhood Facebook page, or not Open Doors, but next door.
Oh, next door too. Yeah.
Yeah, host it on there. There's a lot of people that aren't on Facebook in our neighborhood. It seems they're more on the next door thing.
They're on there. They're stalking.
Yeah, right. Like that Shaq thing that I showed you. Shaq hiding behind that little tree, like
so dumb.
You know he's there.
Number 3.
Go caroling in a neighborhood and invite clients to come along. I'm going to be passing on this one.
You don't want me doing that.
Yeah, I don't.
I can't sing.
All the dogs in the neighborhood be going off.
Yeah. It's just.
So
I'm sure that works really good for some people, some neighborhoods, especially if you sing for a band or choir or church choir or something. Then that you actually have that skill, I'm sure that crushes it.
I'll tell you a funny one is that
man.
somebody did this in my neighborhood. A local realtor actually did this in my neighborhood last year, and 2 of my clients were with her in her whole little thing. I looked out when I opened the door. They're like, "Oh, Dave, you live here?" And I was like, "Yeah, now you know where I live."
What are you doing with them?
I was like, "What are you doing with her?" You know? They're like, "Oh, they just picked us up like a tornado going down the street. It seemed fun, so we just joined them." I was like, "Oh, cool."
That works.
Yeah. So host a neighborhood social. This is another one. So, and like the neighborhood I live in, there's a little event center that we can rent out, and actually I think it's free, or it's $20.
Yeah.
And it's got restrooms, it's got a kitchenette, it's got all these things. It's tied to the pool. Obviously we won't be doing any swimming or anything like that. However, it's a great place that I can do something like that. We've done a queso cook-off before.
Those are good.
And so we can do certain little things like that. You can do a pie contest with that, and host a little neighborhood event where people can come by and try the people's pies, and you can get different business owners in the neighborhood and do that. Yeah, and to taste the pies, you drop off a toy. We'll have more about toy drives, I'm sure, in this. However, that'd be a fun one. Yeah. All these are really fun. You just have to get out and do them, and most people would probably be afraid of like, oh, I don't know where to start, And I'm telling you right now, we have these conversations all the time. You just go do it. There is nowhere to start.
Literally close your eyes, pick one on the list, and just go all in.
Yeah, and just stay consistent for the rest of the holiday season. Yeah, and pushing these things, and obviously you'll want to have all these things ending right before Christmas. Yeah, you don't want to drag them out too far. No. People will lose interest in them. Hire a landscape crew to come in and blow leaves, shovel snow, and help with little yard cleanup.
That's what my kids are for. I'm not gonna hire anybody.
Well, not for your house, for the neighborhood, your farm.
Man. Yeah, dope. Anyway,
I'll bring them along.
So hire a landscape crew, like in our neighborhood, up and down the street. It's part of the HOA where they take care of that. Our neighborhood's pretty manicured. However, I can certainly think that the shoveling snow in a couple of our listeners' areas, up in Ohio, I know that we have some listeners up in New York. Yeah. I know we have some listeners. They're more than likely can benefit from that. It doesn't snow much here in Austin, Texas, and when it does, it's really a joke. Yeah. But people do lose their minds when it snows here.
Looked like someone threw a little bit of salt on the ground. That was it.
Well, and I prefer it that way. So it comes and it goes. Nice. You get to see it real quick. You have a nice white, one of the white days. It's rarely ever white on Christmas, but let me see here. Host a tree lighting event. Which I wish I would have done in my neighborhood, because they lit everything up, and all it was like 2 dudes that showed up from probably an electrician's helper or journeyman, showed up, strung these lights up real quick, and turned everything on a timer. And there was nothing to it.
That's it.
Yeah, and I'd like to think that if I got with the HOA, more than likely I could donate $100 worth of LED lights or $200 worth of LED lights, and do this big tree and just make it a little bit more extravagant. Yeah. Our neighborhood, we live in a master plan community, and it's really just kind of like the simple lights that outline the walls going into the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And then the tree is really simple also, just a bunch of green lights with a red star on top. Ooh. And so it's very basic. So I think that maybe next year, if we're still in that neighborhood, that I might take a look at that. So I think other people should do that too, is host some sort of tree lighting. That'd be a really fun one. Number 8. Host a Clark Griswold holiday award competition in your neighborhood to the best home with the most gaudiest decorations.
I was literally
that would be a blast.
I was about to say something. I was like, oh, come on, they have to list this on. They're
over to my
gonna
hood.
hit that on the list.
Yeah, I mean,
That would be a fun contest. Just go all out, see how many people you can do it. There's 37th Street in downtown or by downtown Austin. They have a whole area where you can walk through where people like the entire neighborhood. I guess they recently got
have
revitalized.
that. Yeah, we have that everywhere. I mean, in Georgetown, we have right off Main Street all these great craftsman style homes. That
Yeah.
are just going up in value, but they're known for Halloween and they're known for that. In my neighborhood, we have one called Warnock Cove that has like they just go full ham on Halloween and Christmas. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How much money they spend. And we even looked at a house on Warnock, and we had one of the neighbors come out and like, just say like pre-qualify us like, hey, if you guys buy this, if you don't know the neighborhood that well, and I didn't tell them I live there, if you don't know the neighborhood that well, you have to participate in Christmas and Halloween every year. And when I say participate, like, let me show you some pictures.
Yeah.
Like she was ready. She's sitting out there watching everybody
Testing
show
your
us
education on
and that
LED
house,
lights.
badass house, about 3,000 square feet, one story, doesn't last long in our neighborhood. Sat for a little bit longer, probably because of those neighbors that were just kind of qualifying everybody to come in.
Yeah.
And one of the houses sold on the corner. Funny thing, quick story. But all this dude did was one of those starlights where you put it down and it does that. That's what he did the first year. But now he's gone full on.
I was
Griswold.
gonna say, man, you're about to get thrown out the neighborhood.
Yeah, he's full on Griswold
Yeah,
now.
the
You go
talking
over
to.
there, it's just kind of crazy. Even Halloween, he had a great setup on Halloween. He had little skeletons that were looking like it was scaling his whole house. Really cool stuff.
That's
really
pretty
cool
fun.
stuff. So the Griswold thing, that one would be a blast to do. You know, Cousin Eddie's my favorite. So
Bring out the RVs.
use social media. Do Project 365, taking at least one photograph every day of the year. That's something obviously you can kick off next year on January 1. Tell me a little bit about that one, Marsh.
Doing a project, take at least one photograph every day for a year. I don't know if I want to do that one. Do video in there, and I don't know. I thought we were talking about December. This is a long commitment.
Starts in December for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
For 1 month.
I don't know. I've been trying to get away from pictures a little bit. Maybe
So
do videos.
basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to scroll down the list and find what I'm talking about.
I'm on number 9.
That's exactly what you're doing. You're covering your ass right now. And you're just bullshitting. You went through it until you scroll to the right place to talk. Anyway, I got you. I do it all the time also. Okay, so Project 365, use social media. That's kind of cool stuff. You should be posting as much as possible anyway. I think you should be posting on social media. One picture of your tacos, your food, pictures of your business, pictures of your sold signs, pictures of your just listed, your coming soons. Post all that stuff as much as you can. You should be doing something like that every single day. I'm all about creating top of mind awareness, and that's the best way to do it. So do Project 365. Take a new spin on it. Think of innovative ideas to do these type of things or videos. I know people are struggling with videos right now, like what to do. Everybody's doing that. Don't worry what everybody else is doing. Go visit, like on Facebook, RETV. That's Tim Macy, Brian Cosi, and a few other guys that are excellent at video creation and then giving great tips. Don't be afraid to ask anything. Don't let your ego stand in the way. And ask the questions on I need some great topics. Man, people will pour into you all the topics you should be doing. I think right now till the end of the year, you should be doing everything holiday wise. People really like the holidays these days, and I went to a holiday parade last night and it lasted an hour and every single float, every single person were screaming out Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, just kind of all walks, all religions, all everything. It was really cool to see, and so people really love the holidays. I think the holidays are back. I think for a while there, people were shunning them off or they were a little bit lackluster in my opinion. Maybe they're just lackluster for me and I didn't notice, but these days they seem to be, people are going full.
I think it was the economy kind of dragged a lot of people down, and I think it's been enough time where people are slowly coming out of their shell, and they're like, okay, I think it's been good for a while. We hope it continues to go well. We can start kind of doing the fun things and really dive into the holidays that everyone used to do before. And then I think that just cooled everybody down a little bit. It seems like people are slowly coming out their shell.
I'm going to say a little bit that politics had a little bit to do with it also. People were afraid to say the words Merry Christmas. They were afraid to offend anyone, and when people usually they go dark, they don't want to participate with things if they can't just be themselves or whatever else. I think that was a huge thing with it. But that mold's been cracked, so people are saying it again. He's got his skinny jeans and response.
No, people make me laugh about that stuff. And like, you can say happy holidays. You can say whatever you want to say.
Whatever you want, but people were afraid to say that. You have to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I think some people were. I think pointlessly, but
right. So let's jump up here real quick. Get in the holiday spirit, Marshall. We're on number 10.
11.
Okay, just seeing if you're paying attention.
You just seen I'm paying attention. Make hot cocoa jars. Add a small bottle of Kahlua and drop them off at doorstep. So we were already kind of doing that, going by title. You got these nice little pop by cards. Add the hot cocoa jars, but I wasn't adding the Kahlua.
Yeah, the Kahlua is a nice little touch.
That is.
You have to find a place where you can buy those little airplane bottles.
The liquor store.
You don't want to do thanks, buddy.
Dude, there's a place down the street.
But you could do that, or you can do Bailey's. But the thing is like, you just pick a group that gets Bailey's, you pick a group that gets Kahlua, and get them out there. So that'd be kind of fun to do, and especially if there were a couple left over.
Yeah, I'd like to get one.
Somebody accidentally fell out of the stack.
It is real estate on the rocks. We could add in some cocoa. Yeah, so
we got to do that for our Christmas special.
Drop off cookie dough, cookie cutters with sprinkles and frosting. So basically a cookie making kit. That's a smart one. How long can cookie dough set out though?
Gingerbread
you're
too.
Asking the wrong guys here.
Gingerbread houses.
Yeah.
There's a kit for that. But those jars got really popular for a while. Is putting all the contents you need for creating like cookies or snacks or something like that. You just pack it in there, seal it up. You can attach like cookie cutters or whatever kind of pieces around the side and just drop it off, and then that way you can make it's a whole kit. It's already built in, so you need nothing else, and that works really well.
Yeah, just make sure if you're dropping off any kind of food or edibles, if you're dropping off anything like that, make sure that your clients are in town, because raccoons, cats, dogs, other animals out there will definitely get in and take your stuff, break it open, and eat it. We've had it done in the past where I talked before about when I do the cookie dough cheesecakes from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
I left one on a porch thinking that he was going to be home in a little while. And these two clients were going to be home in a little while. They never came home because they had left town. And certainly it was taken and just destroyed. And it was all over their front porch where an animal just smeared it all over the place. And I probably gave a raccoon diabetes too.
Dang.
So...
I'm sure they appreciated that.
Yeah, that's always a cool one. Deliver holiday ornaments. You can go to the dollar store and you can get a crap ton of holiday ornaments. Pick out something kind of cool. You can take. Marshall came up with it. There's certain places out there where you can have maybe their picture printed on an ornament of the house that they sold or a house that they bought. Maybe with your logo in the corner of it, just to keep that top of mind awareness. Some people might think that's a little tacky. However, that's your job, is just kind of stay in front of people. Yeah. And if they see that when they're putting it up, they're breaking it out the next year. Don't put a year on it, or maybe put a year on it. Maybe put a year on it.
So actually So I was talking to my grandparents. We've talked about their different homes and different cars and stuff they've had, and they'd recall like, oh, we had, when the family was this size, or we were living here, we had lived in this home and we had this car and stuff like that. And I was like, man, it'd be so cool to see some of the pictures, or see, a cool, like a picture or something that shows what they had before, just for memories and stuff. So to have like an ornament, that would have been cool to see my grandparents, because they worked really hard for their money and then paid for it. And then they've slowly grown, larger and larger with the family.
I'm definitely going
to
look at some of these things. I thought about doing, for the listeners of Real Estate on the Rocks, was like, we'll do a picture of us on an ornament. If you'd like, just send us a text over to Top Shelf at 88000 and tell me that you want one of those ornaments, and we'll get that right out to you. Let me see.
Can we send liquor in the mail?
What's that?
We should send like a little Jack or tequila or something in the mail with it.
Yeah. Or just a Kahlua. Send that out too. So poinsettias. And so typically if you look around the right place, you can deliver, you can find poinsettias for pretty cheap, and, drop those off at clients. They certainly appreciate it. They're very pretty. I think one of the local stores here in Austin, Texas had poinsettias that were big, beautiful poinsettias for $14.97 each, $15. Not bad. A lot of times right after, like on Black Friday, I know that Walmart had $5 poinsettias and they were doing them for $1.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw them cheaper.
Yeah, and so you do them for $1. But these $15 ones, they're $15 ones. They're not the little ones that look like they're not going to make it another week. But I wanted to back up a little bit because you brought up the gingerbread house thing.
Yeah.
Keep in mind for 2020 holidays next year, for Christmas next year, is go out after this year, once Christmas is over, and look for the gingerbread houses kits and those type of things, they get rid of all that stuff. Look for all these ornaments, look for everything that they put on sale and just stock it in a box and put it away. We do that with ornaments and cards. Like we have so many cards, like we won't buy cards with the dates on them, but Marshall's wife is really good about
she does that every time.
yeah, finding cards for 50 cards for $1. And so she just buys them, and then she reminds us every year. I got a text from her saying, "Don't buy any holiday cards."
That's just one bin in the other room.
Yeah, don't buy any Christmas cards at all this year. And so that's covered. We just have to make the time commitment to get those out, and make sure you are making that time commitment to get your Christmas cards out, because the mail does get quite busy. And so if you have a staff or a team or anything like that, you need everybody to sign. What we've done over here is just kind of make a assembly line. And so Melanie preps them all, puts them in front of me. I sign them. Then they go to James. Then they go to, what's your name? Marshall. And then everybody else, and it just goes down the list and signs them. And we all just typically do the same thing. And we try to use different colored pens. That's an important one too. And so that's a fun one. Let me hear. Stop by your favorite businesses, drop off poinsettias, treat bowls, and a card. And so your favorite businesses, I guess, because you're looking for what? Business to business referrals?
Yep.
So that's always a good one. We do that actually a lot. A lot of our business does come from referrals. Marshall, real quick, why don't you tell them about your referral group?
Hey, so I work the Austin, Texas area, and I would love to have your referral, and we also reciprocate. So if I get any for your area, I'm also going to send them out to your direction. Text 88000 then, top shelf, and we'll get back to you.
Or friend Marshall Tucker up on...
Friend me up on Facebook.
Or Dave Snowberger. Don't friend James.
No, not James.
You don't want to see James.
You won't get a referral.
No, you won't get a referral.
You guys are so dumb.
Well, there's a lot of it going on, because I'm sending out a landing page right now. I've got the current Bonbon monthly mailers.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time,
Also,
man.
if you do reach out to us, I will send you a free book as a gift. So as long as you're in the U.S., so reach out to me.
Nice.
Growing that knowledge.
There you go. And it's a badass book too. It's what I've really based my whole career around. And now there's a part 2 book. So once you do this, you'll have to go over to Amazon and grab the other book. But to find out what the book is, you have to reach out to us. All right, this one next. Sign clients up for a monthly gift box, such as Harry and David or Grace. I don't know what that means. Grace. God, I'm horrible at this. Graze. So I know Graze is a box that sends you a bunch of treats. I don't know what those cost every month. Obviously, you can't do that for everybody if it's $20 a month.
Yeah, Harry and David was 30 to 70 something.
We have 5,000 people in our database, so I can't do that. I'd go broke.
You can do your A-list referrals.
Yeah,
partners,
which we're doing right now
clients.
too. Is we're breaking down our clients into A's, B's, and C's, which we've had before, but then we've stacked on so many new clients that they're just kind of out there. So, what determines an A, what determines a B or C or even a D.
You should always relook at it. They're not always going to stay the same. They should should be kind of fluid.
You dropped down to a C this week.
Well, you could be a C and then send a referral, and all of a sudden you're a B.
You're an A again.
Right? No, you're not going to say one referral is not going to get you into the A group.
Got to do more than that.
Depends on the price.
Yeah.
I only sent you one, but it was $1 million. Like, all right,
least you sent me a lease.
You sent me a lease. You're back at the D. the double D list.
Damn.
That actually sounds
so number 19, send a lovely gift basket.
You could have left off a lovely.
Lovely. Well, my wife makes it, so it's gonna be lovely.
So it's gonna be lovely.
Get in there and make some gift baskets.
So one thing that I've noticed right here with the gift baskets, I used to do this all the time. I get away from a lot of things that I cut my teeth doing, some of those personal touches. When I started, I guess, at scale and started doing more deals, I left off a lot of the personal touches, which is shame on me, and I should pick a lot of them back up. With that being said, gift baskets. If you go to like your local Goodwill or Salvation Army or any kind of thrift store, they typically have, like here in Texas all the time, I can find these gift baskets that are Texas shaped, right?
Yeah.
So we live in a state that loves the Texas flag and loves the shape of Texas. And we have every product in the world. I'm looking at your Yeti cup right now and it has the state of Texas on it, right?
Cool shape.
And so, yeah, it's the best shape in the union. So we take those and then we stick things in there that they could possibly use. So usually it's a little bit of booze, maybe a couple snacks or beef jerky, things like that. And then I would just cover them in the plastic and then, the plastic that you buy.
Yeah.
And then just tie a little ribbon on it. And I would drop those off to people. So that's a great one. That was quite lovely.
And you go to the dollar store and get that wrappers and stuff. You can get the stuff. I mean, they're going to tear it apart and throw it away anyway. So you don't have to go all in on the quality of the product. Just get a good wrapping, get the stuff kind of cheap, the core pieces, and then spend the money on the stuff you're actually putting inside.
It's really the thought that counts.
100%.
They're not going to look at
100%.
it and do an inventory of what you just spent on them.
Right.
If you only spend $7, $8
Let me scan this barcode real quick.
Yeah, 8 different items. And here we have actually a store that's like All Things Texas. I don't know if you know about that store, but All Things Texas has everything Texas in it. So it has like armadillo droppings.
I just took this to Goodwill to get rid of it.
Yeah, chocolate covered cashews.
Tyler's, there's a stuff you can find stuff like that all over the country that have local kind of
specific
fun
to your
stuff.
area. Yeah, I mean, look at New York. And you can go get little Eiffel Tower. No, Eiffel Towers.
Statue of Liberties.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
So close. So close.
Not only am I a quote master, I'm also a geographical master.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, keep this going. My phone went to sleep.
Number 20, add movie tickets in with your holiday cards. One thing that I've found is a local theater here called Flicks that I can get on there, add my client's email address, and it will just send them the gift card through the email so they don't have to just log on, take it with their phone, and boom.
Right on. I think we're actually going to do that this time is throw in some lottery cards.
Lottery tickets would be nice.
Yeah, lottery
That's
tickets.
another one
Lottery cards. Man. But throw in some lottery tickets, if we have to spend a couple $100 on that, we have probably a couple hundred cards going out this year.
There's a catch. If you win, you got to send us 25% referral.
Oh, geez. So gift calendars and refrigerator magnets. Those are always helpful when you do go into places all the time. When you go on your next listing appointment, or even if you're showing a home, look on the side of the refrigerator. You're going to be surprised on how many realtors or insurance agents you're going to see on there with the calendars or the football schedules. I see the Dallas Cowboy or Texas Longhorns calendars on every house I go into pretty much.
My grandparents have the same agent or team that send them the little note card magnet they do magnets, and then they just started doing like the little note paper for years. They are not leaving that house.
Yeah.
I get
until
business card magnet backings and always send those in postcards.
Yep.
Yeah, we bought those. You can buy those on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can buy those on Amazon and you just stick your business card on every single one of them. Now you have a stack. And so every time that we would send a handwritten note, we'd actually put that in there. Because nobody really throws away magnets.
It's kind of a thrill. You go to the house, you see yourself on the fridge. You're like,
when they call you.
I was talking to somebody, I was like, they were like, how many people really use magnets? I was like,
write that down.
You
Let's
would be
start
surprised.
doing that again. Seriously, like going through this list as these kind of like aha moments of all these things that we used to do that we don't do anymore because we got too big for our britches, And so, if we return back to this hyper local thing that we've been pushing for quite some time and start doing these things, these were all the stuff that kicked off all of our careers. We really need to return to this stuff. So I probably should have put it on mute before I said all that stuff. But however, if we're doing it, you should be doing it. Yep. So, like I said, especially you new agents out there, pick one or two of these things and then don't even just keep it on a holiday level. Keep it on a yearly level. There's spring coming up, There's the summer coming up. You can always every season you can be doing these little
Easter
things.
basket drop
right,
off,
and it gives you
eggs.
4 touches a year if you're sending out 4 cards or 4 whatever. Or
if you're starting out, your database isn't that big. You can find DIY videos, YouTube, Pinterest, everywhere that show you how to do things like that. Just create those and go take them to the house.
Dude, I told you
don't have to mail
that,
anything out.
I told you that one guy, and I thought it was a very goofy thing at first, but he went out and bought like 50 spatulas at the dollar store, so $50. And then he tied a little pop-by card that he got from typically not lenders, but title people are always a part of Brian Buffini's system, right? And so they always have those pop-by cards. Mm-hmm. And it said, like, I'll flip for your business. And it was a spatula. And he just went and left them on people. He didn't even knock. He just put them on people's porches or put them in their doors or whatever else, and he just left, and he was trying to farm his neighborhood. And I don't know how it ever went or if he ever gained traction. I know he's still a realtor, so 6 years.
I still got the spatula.
7 years later, I thought it was a goofy idea, but Steve Full seemed to think we knew the same guy. He's like, oh yeah, he kills it over in his neighborhood, and just works his neighborhood now. So I guess the farm thing took off, and it was probably from the dumb idea of throwing out a spatula, which turned out to be a genius idea. So let me see here. Make a charitable donation on behalf of your clients and send them a card with the information. You can always do that. And another good one too is to go door knocking and tell them what it is and have a little piece of paper or whatever. informing them that the whole neighborhood should make a charitable donation.
Yeah.
And everybody should pitch in what they can, whether it's loose change, $1 or $2, $5, up to $20. Don't let them go over $20. You know, if they want to donate more, if they don't trust you, that's fine. Have a link on there that they can click on and, you know, PayPal or Venmo the payment over to them, you know, and raise some money for that charity, you know?
Yeah. Food drives are really good for that too. So instead of just collecting money, you're just collecting food and stuff. People can clean out their pantries and stuff like that and just donate the stuff. You just
I was just seeing somewhere that, where was it? Somewhere around here, the food bank was just depleted. It was the whole storage room and shelf after shelf was just empty and depleted. So a bunch of realtors got on it and decided to do this. And then somebody signed on, some insurance company. I won't drop any names on insurance company. We need to get paid for that.
Didn't your girlfriend just collect food?
Yeah. She did what?
She collected food.
Yep, they did for her farm.
Oh, cool.
Did the whole neighborhood and went out and collected a good chunk. I mean, not everybody, you know, donated, but a good chunk of them did. So they went through and packed up the car full of a couple cars full of supplies.
Yeah. This one right here is from Hank of Ink. He's on the list here of what's he do here? He sends scratch off tickets. So we already covered this, was throwing scratch off tickets into lottery, and then you followed up with a phone call to see how they won. That's the touch right there. Nice. Right. And so you keep track of everybody, and if you don't have their information to follow up, then, you know, I probably wouldn't give them scratch.
Door knocker.
Yeah.
Door knock that.
But see how it goes, and then put in there and just kind of like the anticipation of like you're going to get a phone call from me, and then, you know, after a week or two they go out, or maybe even so they remember, and it's top of mind. You know, if it goes out on a Monday, more than likely they'll get it by Wednesday, you know, and then call on a Friday, you know, call on a Friday or the next Monday and say, hey, did you win anything? That was cool. You know, it's like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, geez, just think if somebody won something big.
That'd be awesome.
You know?
I have 2 houses.
That'd be nice.
A little bit more on the personal touch side. So offer desserts. You can always do that. You can do, once again, like I said, do a trade out for desserts. So people stop by. Marshall had a good one right now. He's going to want to do was it Santa at the restaurant?
Oh, yeah. So we have a barbecue restaurant here in Georgetown called The Pit Barbecue. And we were talking about there's an area in the dining room. It's kind of a stage. So we got Santa Claus there and offered to take free pictures and family portraits and just collect the emails for that and just get people over there. We have next door, the Boy Scouts, they have a Christmas tree sale. So people are already coming over with that kind of mindset. So why not just stop by and get a picture as well? Yeah.
So the whole pie giveaway thing is pretty huge right now. And usually things that work in this business catch wildfire. And so all I saw over Thanksgiving break was pie giveaways from everybody, you know, and just people giving away pies. And I see people out hand delivering pies, you know, and that was a lot of their social media. Here's a little hack. Have them come to you. All right. Set up shop somewhere it's pretty much localized to wherever you do business. Take the pie order a month in advance. That's another reason to get in touch with them. You know, it can be an email where they have to respond to you, and you know, have them pick pumpkin or pecan. You know, I don't eat either. You know, well, then you're out.
Bad.
You know, you don't. Well, you know, you don't go. All I eat is boysenberry. You can't just go get one boysenberry pie like you want to do this in the masses, right? So you stop by Costco, HEB. Most of your grocery stores out there, they all have $5 to $7 pies. It's not that big of a investment. You invest a couple $100. You invite them by for, you know, have some hot cocoa or hot cider going, you know, and you can have alcohol if you want. However, you know, that's something that you might want to save for a different date. Just let them stop by and pick up the pie, have a conversation with them real quick, and just reaffirm that handshake, that hug, that have a great holiday, that connection. And just revitalize that, because you might not have seen them in a year or two. You know, I know that I have like the Wilkses I just closed, right? And so I spent a lot of time with them when I sold their house. And I spent a lot of time with them when I sold them a house, right? And so it was a very emotional whole thing. And I spent a lot of time after that. Like, they took me to dinner. He ended up, you know, doing some great things for me that I would never expect a client to do, you know, handing me another check, you know, and it just kind of like, it blew me away. But then, you know, it started getting colder. I haven't seen them in a while, and I feel like I actually like miss them. Like, what can I do for them right now? You know, it's like, so I'm going to reach out.
Good feeling and relationship kind of thing to have with
that's
clients.
My A client that I'm going to actually stop by, knock on the door, give them something, you know, of value, I think, that they would like. And who doesn't like pumpkin pie these days, you know? And so do
We
a
had pumpkin pie cheesecake the other day.
Yeah, we posted pictures
slamming.
about that. That was sick.
that
And
sounds
so that's always a great one right there. And then in the end of all this stuff, the card's good, but simply just making a phone call or writing a note, a handwritten note to somebody. I mean, that right there can just seal the whole deal that you've got a client and a friend for life. And that shows that you care, and that's a lot of that value is just something that was personally written to them. That's one thing I don't like about Christmas cards very much is that it's just kind of like, I wish you a happy holiday season, and then it's just signed by all of our names. It's not very personal, and a lot of times, I mean, we get them, and I open them up, and it's just kind of like,
the only ones that I do like
into
is the family picture ones. I really enjoy those because I get friends from all over the country who send me pictures of them and their family and stuff, and they know I'm very big with families. And like kids and everything like that. So those mean a lot to me, and I get to check in with them and touch base. So I like those a lot.
One of my best friends from high school, his mom, she moved off to Grapevine, Texas somewhere. But every year she sends a Christmas card with like a 2-page letter in there of just everything their family's been doing over the year, how their farm is doing and all that. And it's kind of cool to read it and catch up.
Oh, nice.
It's better than just a signature. Yeah.
Well, cool. There's there's 25 good ideas for you, and then we kind of squirreled on some and went down different paths, but I think everything right there was helpful. It was helpful for me to hear them again because now I get to go back and do some things that we've been doing for years that we just kind of stopped doing because we got too comfortable.
That seems like a normal thing to do. Like people, start doing things, and as you progress, you start doing new things, and then things slowly start trickling away.
You forget about all the things that made you really kind of stand out in the first place, in my opinion. It's just kind of like a lot of these things these are things that we did consistently, in our not necessarily farms, but just our database and the people that we care about and the people that we've, they let us into their lives and help them with the biggest transaction in their lives. Right. And so, we're just not one and done. So we don't want to orphan our clients, and so a lot of these things are going to put us back on the map with some people that we might have lost touch with. So I would cherry pick a few of these things and get after it. So we certainly appreciate you listening. Let me see here. We're going to go ahead and wrap this one up, and then we'll be back in the next few days. So just let in about 15 seconds, another episode will start. If you need anything from us, just reach out at topshelf@88000. That's topshelf@8800. Do not forget that we are EXP agents. If you do want to have a conversation about EXP or have any questions about the benefits of being with EXP, just go ahead and text, join EXP to 88000. You think one day I'm just going to learn that and I'll be able to say it freely with whatever.
That's why I wrote up on the board.
Yeah, it's right there. So, and then always, once again, Magic Mike. So for Marshall Tucker, James the Butcher, new guy, no shower. I'm trying to think of new names for you. Elf on the Shelf.